Well, as promised, here is Andy Traub, good friend of mine, longtime friend of mine, was actually in the very first Leaders Made with me. Long time ago, it seems. Well, Andy, just do us a favor and tell us your early efforts in serving Jesus through the local church.
My early efforts can actually be classified as that. What are my early efforts? So in churches I grew up in and was serving in, it was about what I could do, what program I could plug into, where I could volunteer. Okay. Found myself working really hard and not sure what the outcome was going to be, except for the fact I just knew I was to volunteer, plug in, and be a part of something. But at the end of the day, they were programs, and they weren't really about me. I actually got to the point to where I was so tired, so burned out, that I put myself and my family on the sideline. For about 9 months. We didn't even attend church.
So tell us now, let's just fast forward ahead,
okay.
Skip over what happened, and just fast forward ahead and tell me what mission looks like for you right now.
Oh my gosh. What mission looks like for me is daily. It's what I do. It's who I am. It's who I've become. My profession is my passion, which is now my mission. And to be able to sync all those up, what I've done, I have my own business. I say it's my own business. It's because my name has to be on it, but it's really his business. So I actually do a lot working with companies to help them employ individuals with disabilities. I found myself continually pinching myself on, you've actually asked me to go to the White House twice to talk to people about hiring people with autism. Who am I to be at the White House talking to White House staffers and staffers putting me on a list of people they want to talk to? That's mind-blowing. To be in headquarters of some of the largest companies in the world, and arguably one of them. From the Amazons to the Googles to, Starbucks. It just goes on and on, the impact. Like I said, it's not my company. It's a vehicle for me to be able to do what he wants me to do.
So a number of years ago, you were sidelined. I didn't even go to church. I don't know if you can't see what I can see. I can see your face. Your face went from this frowny face to this lit up thing. So we talked about where you were. We talked about kind of what you're doing now. What changed? What happened to move you from sidelined to thriving?
I always say, your fault to a certain degree. I was in a spot. I'd gotten into the church. We'd started here, and it was about what's your mission, what's your next steps. And so we've really been praying, my wife and I, about praying about what our next steps are. Not only as a family, we had 2 small kids at the time, but what do we do individually? Because we had been working, we had been on the sidelines, and so we got to the point to where it was like, let's just be obedient. And the invitation came to join Disciples Made. I was told, hey, it's new, it's out of the box, we're going to figure some stuff out. But I looked at it as like, I'm being invited into something that's different than what I've ever been invited to before. And to be able to understand who I am and what God has in store for me is exciting versus, well, I'm supposed to show up at a certain place to volunteer for 2 hours. That's what my next step is. It's like, no, let's talk about. And I remember when we walked around, the group, why are you here? And I said, I don't know why I'm here. All I know is there's going to be something that comes out of this. And at the same time, I was buried at work, and there's a project that, quite frankly, senior executives wanted me to do, and it was actually figuring out how to employ people in our movie theaters who are individuals with autism. That was a project that I knew enough just to kind of push off. And right or wrong, I was scared of that project. So it wasn't something I was tackling head on. It was getting to the point to where that was kind of bubbling up. But here I am on the parallel path of this whole Disciples Made, trying to figure out what my calling is, and then bam, that morning, 4:15 in the morning happened. Proverbs 31, 8 and 9 happened to be the reading for the day. It says, speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. Whoa. Instead of having 2 parallel things, I had a collision of work and mission. This project that I've been pushing off is no longer a project for the company. It's a project for him. And to be able to work and impact his people and to do what he's calling me to do, Proverbs 31, 8. At that point in time, embraced the project. We, within a 3-month period, 90 days, changed the way we screened our individuals, the way we took applications. We changed processes that took years to build. We were able to change them, adapt them, and we had our first hire in 90 days. And then I got a phone call from the general manager. Hired the individual, and they called me and they said, hey, I need to talk to you about Kyle. I said, uh-oh. Kyle just started. Something went wrong, we missed something. He said, yeah, I want to talk to you about Kyle, and he showed up today. I'm like, and I'm waiting for those shoes to drop, going, does something happen? He goes, yeah. He said, you should see him walking around. He's making sure he's at every theater. He's making sure he's doing the things he has, because he has his dad's watch on. His dad's watch is too big. He keeps playing with it, but he's incredibly proud. Kyle has autism. He's having an opportunity to earn money and learn the value of a job. 3 weeks later, I get a phone call. I need to talk to you about Kyle. That's it. Honeymoon's over. Things went, and they said, you should see Kyle today. I said, why? And he said, because if you think he was proud with his dad's watch, Kyle actually went out with his own paycheck and bought his own watch. And now he's even more proud because he actually was able to go spend his own money for the first time to buy something he wants. And so at that point in time, I actually had tears in my eyes, because at that point I realized this is not about a one-time deal of God descending upon my life. It's now his calling to say, are you wanting to walk this with me? 6 months later, we had impacted, at that point in time, we had impacted over 1,000 people that we could track. People were being hired right and left in our theaters, people with disabilities. And suddenly I found the fact that that nice corporate job went away due to a reduction in force. That was 6 years ago. And I've had this opportunity. And I've been living, my passion is his mission, which coincides with my profession, and blows my mind.
Now it's Traub and Associates serving tens and hundreds of thousands of Kyles.
Correct.
Calling, as you step into it, doesn't just impact the kingdom, it impacts your life,
right.
the nuclear family. Just tell us quickly a little bit about what God's done to shape your family as you've been obedient and he's showed you this piece of your calling.
Well, we said back, and every parenting books out there says, be careful, they're watching.
Yeah.
That's true. So 6 years ago, when we were involved with this whole process, my son was in 2nd grade and get a phone call from his teacher. We need to talk about Gabe. And when you get a 2nd grade teacher calling you personally, it is not usually a good thing. It's like, oh boy, what did he do? And I love my son, but he's a boy.
Sure.
But she said, yeah, we need to talk about recess. And I'm like, now we're really, the odds of anything good coming out of this are small. And so I said, okay, what's going on? She said, well, it's going on for about the past week. And I kind of got something's going on, it's for a week.
Yeah.
And you haven't called me yet? She said, yeah, so there's a boy who happens to have Down syndrome in his grade. And during lunch, they have what they call walk and talk. So part of it's eating your lunch, and another part is being outside and walking a track, socializing and such. Apparently, Gabe went up to his fellow student named Eli and just started talking to him. Eli's the one with Down syndrome. And Gabe is always in the thick of the social world, and he was an athlete and was on the football team and such. And so he just starts talking to Eli. And she said, but the ironic thing was Gabe started talking to him on one day. And then Gabe asked a couple of his friends, to come over and start talking to Eli later on in the week. Today's Friday, and I just watched half of the entire 2nd grade football team walking with Eli, and Eli being a part of it, and he's the big deal, and it's genuine. And she goes, I just want to say thanks. And I'm like, I was speechless. I'm like, no, thank you. So Gabe gets home, and we're talking, and I said, hey, buddy, anything happen at school today? Nope. Anything happen on the playground today? Nope, everything's good. It's fine, it's good.
Right.
And I finally had to fess up, and I told him what happened. And I said, so what was in you that say, I'm going to go talk to Eli? And he looked at me and he goes, Dad, that's what we do. We speak up for those who can't speak for themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Proverbs 31:8 is now our family mantra, is what we do, and it defines really what we're to do.
This is just one expression of how God has used an intentional disciple-making environment that focuses on developing not just character, but calling as well.
Right.
And it put you on a pursuit to figure that out. And now God's done a work in you. He's done a work through you with Kyle. And now with the hundreds and thousands of Kyles, just the work beyond you. That's pretty incredible. What one thing would you tell a disciple-making leader, like a leader in a church like myself, who wants to make a difference, who wants to see stories like this happen more and more in their environment and in their wake? What one thing would you tell them?
I go back to Psalm 119 where it says, let your light be a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Every person in every church has that same mantra, that same relationship with the Lord, and to allow them and unpack that for them. We can serve four walls, or do we actually become the church who gets outside and we are the church? And to be able to sit back and say, look, are there ways for us to unlock them and be okay with that and let the church build based upon where God's got everybody's calling? Then you're not burning out. It's not about a program. It's about unleashing and unlocking the church, which is within every individual, and allowing that lamp and the Word to be the guidance for everybody. And I think DM was that catalyst for me to understand that truly is my relationship with the Lord.
That's awesome. Andy, thanks so much. I hope you've really enjoyed this portion of the toolkit that Rob and I have shared with you about the intentional disciple-making environment. It's been an honor to share. God bless you guys.